Hi, Birdie level participants. Tammy Palmer, Program Director of the First Tee of the Golden Owls. And I have with me today Coach Mason Scott. And we are on our third Birdie lesson. That's core lesson number 18, setting goals that are specific and under your control. And that starts on page 38. We've talked a lot over the last couple of lessons about being specific in our goals, but we really haven't talked about setting goals that are under our control. And I know there's a couple of different factors to consider here. Can you explain to our participants what that looks like?
So you're going to look at two basic factors, your external factors. So these are the things outside of your control that are happening. And then the internal factors, which are everything that you can control. So when we set our goals, we want to make sure that they include these internal aspects so that we can control whether or not we achieve our goal or not. So some examples of internal factors of when we're playing golf is we can control the way we swing, we can control how we're feeling, the amount of water we're drinking while we're playing, the sleep we get before a round, what we're eating, all these different things that we're controlling that are going to help us have the best chance of success. And then on the other hand, you have your external factors. So these are the things you can't control. You cannot control how other people in your group are playing. You can't control the weather. You can't control the bounces sometimes of where your shot lands, even though I think we wish we could control that. You can't control how other players are feeling, thinking, how they're acting towards you. So all these things that are out of your control, that sometimes it's easy to let them take over and kind of be a factor of influence, but we need to let them stay external and kind of focus on what we can do to achieve the goal that we've set.
You know, as you were describing those internal factors, it made me think back and reflect back on our 9 core values. And I think that if we were to keep those 9 core values in mind, and those values are really internal factors. So I can control whether I'm respectful or not. I can control whether I'm courteous to someone else or not. I can control my responsibility for the course. You know, I can control my integrity and using good judgment. So I love that. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. But that as you were talking, I was thinking, oh my gosh, that just, kind of sums up, what it is that we teach in that player level curriculum, which are those 9 core values. And I encourage you, if you need a refresher on that, the player level is available in a virtual classroom. And so we do have videos on those core lessons as well. So you can always revert back and take a look at those to just kind of refresh your memory on what those internal factors might look like. So, we talked a little bit about the internal versus external on the golf course. Like, maybe give the guys some ideas on maybe what it might look like in a classroom.
It comes down to the things that are out of your control. So say you're in a classroom environment, you're having to focus on what you're learning. Say it's math and you're learning about a certain thing that may be new to you that you're not as good at as other people, but being able to focus and say, okay, I'm going to control how much I pay attention, if I'm being respectful to the teacher and listening, if I'm doing my homework, all these things that I can control that help me learn the material much better instead of focusing on external factors. There may be some distractions other people are doing, other people are thinking, but being able to focus internally and really grind in on what we're doing, kind of block out those external factors and those distractions can really help us move forward if it's a subject in school, if it's a test we have, anything like that.
Yeah, I like that example, and I know when I have been, in a position where, someone else is distracting me, like you're in a learning environment and, someone is talking or, they're disrupting the class and not being very respectful or courteous to those around them, it's very hard to concentrate, right? Yeah. So, what are some things you might think about instead, just to kind of block out that external factor, and you have something in front of you that you want to study? Like what might be some things that you focus on instead of that other person?
Yeah, focusing really on the work, and I think a big part of that, we were talking about goals. If you have goals set and goals that are achievable and time specific, all those different aspects, different factors we talked about. If you have those goals in your head, then you're not really worried about everything else. You're kind of focused on achieving that goal. So that kind of helps hone in your focus and, pay attention and take notes and whatever that ends up looking like to try to reach that goal. So if you have those goals in the back of your head, you're really trying to reach those, then all those other outside distractions kind of get pushed away.
Yeah, so actually having a checklist of, hey, this is what I need to do,
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Great answers. Guys, that is core lesson number 18, and that is all about setting goals that are under your control. So thank you so much for being with us, and we'll see you next week.